Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about the constitutional design. Okay, your second chapter, constitutional design. Okay, so let's see. Let's have a small recall. Okay, overview of last chapter. In last chapter, we learned about democracy, right? In democracy, the rulers are not free to do what they like. Okay, in democracy, the rulers they are don't having the freedom to do whatever they desire. Okay, there are certain basic rules that the citizens and the governments have to follow. Okay, it means there are certain rules, okay, that the citizens and the governments have to follow. All such rules together are called your constitution. All such rules together they are called as your constitution. As the supreme law of the country, the constitution determines the rights of citizens, the powers of the government, and how the government should function. Okay, so as the supreme of the country, the constitution will decide the rights of citizens, the powers of the government, and how the government should function the country. In this chapter we are going to ask some question about the constitutional design of a democracy. Why do we need a constitution? How are the constitution drawn up, and who designed them, and in what way? Okay, so what all the question we are going to ask today? Why do we need a constitution? How are the constitution drawn up, and who designed them, and in what way? What are the values that shapes the constitutions in democratic states? Once a constitution is accepted, can we make changes later as required by the changing conditions? Okay, these are the questions which arise in our mind. Okay, now let's see whether we are going to get our answers or not. Okay, so let's start. One recent instance of designing constitution for a democratic state is that of the South Africa. Okay, we begin this chapter by looking at what happened there and how the South Africans went about this task of designing their constitution. We are going to see. Okay, then we turn to how the Indian constitution was made and what its fundamental values are, and how it provides a good framework for the conduct of citizens' life and that of the government. All the things today we are going to see in this chapter. So let's start with the democratic constitution in South Africa. Okay, good. Democratic constitution in South Africa. Nelson Mandela, the South African leader of African National Congress, fought a long battle against apartheid. Okay, Nelson Mandela, you may be heard about this name, yes? The South African leader of African National Congress who fought a long battle against your apartheid. Apartheid means the policy of racial separation used by South Africa from 1948 to 1990. Okay, the policy of racial separation means in the racial like white, black, they were having the separation among them from 1948 to 1990. Okay, so you got what is apartheid. Okay, so Nelson Mandela, the African leader, the National Congress leader, he fought for a long time against the apartheid. Okay, and at last he got imprisoned for 28 years from 1964 to 1992. Then after that he emerged as the first president of the Republic of South Africa. After that, what happened? After that imprisonment, he became the president of the Republic of South Africa for the first time. People struggle against the horrible discrimination practiced against them by the white minority rulers. Okay, the black people, they struggle against the horrible discrimination practiced by the white minority rulers. Okay, they were practicing same as they were practicing earlier. Okay, against the black. This is what they were suffering. The black people were suffering in South Africa because of the racism by the white rulers, the minority white rulers. Apartheid finally defeated in 1994 and a new constitution made in 1996. Okay, apartheid finally defeated in 1994 and a new constitution was made in 1996. Then the black leaders appealed fellow blacks to forgive white. Okay, the black leaders, they appealed to the fellow blacks to forgive the whites. Okay, then remarkable constitution forgot past suffering, sought cooperation of all the races, which makes South Africa based on equality, democratic values and social justice. As you can see here that black leaders appealed the fellow black to forgive white. After that, what happened? The remarkable constitution forgot past sufferings, sought cooperation of all these races, which makes South Africa based on equality, democratic values and the social justice. Okay, so now one question arises: do we need a constitution? Question for you, that do we need a constitution? So let's see. Every country drafts its own constitution. As you can see that every country drafts its own constitution according to their needs. Okay, a constitution of a nation is a set of written laws accepted by people living together in a country. What is a constitution? It is a set of written laws accepted by the people living together in a country. It generates trust and coordination. The constitution, it generates the trust and coordination between the people and the government. It specifies how a government should be constituted. Okay, it is specified that how a government should be constituted. Constituted means structure. Okay, good. It lays down limits on the power of the government. It controls the power of the government. Who? The constitution. Now, it expresses the aspirations of the people about creating a good society. Aspiration means that is nothing but the desire of the people. So, it expresses the desire of the people about creating a good society for their living. Okay, that's why we need a constitution. So, let's see how we make the Indian constitution. Okay, good. Making of the Indian constitution. The process began during the national struggle for freedom. Okay, making of Indian constitution, how it started? The process began during the national struggle for freedom. First draft in 1928, then 1931. Motilal Nehru and 8 leaders demanded in the draft. What were the things they demanded? Universal adult franchise, social justice, right to freedom and liberty. So, in this first two drafts, what they asked the Motilal Nehru and 8 leaders for India? They asked for the universal adult franchise. We already learned about this. Yes or no? Now, second is social justice, for social justice, and third is right to freedom and liberty. They asked for the freedom, right for the freedom and the liberty. Participation in provisional legislature helped Indian in framing their constitution. Okay, participation in provisional legislatures helped Indian in framing their constitution. Leaders, they inspired by French Revolution, British parliamentary system and the Bill of Rights of the US. Okay, the leaders, those who were drafting the constitution, they were inspired by the French Revolution and the British parliament system and the Bill of Rights of the US. Getting? So, these all things inspired our Indian constitution. And the last, they also learned what the British were denying Indian citizen. Okay, and the last what they learned that what the British were denying Indian citizen. Okay, so now let's see the Constituent Assembly. Now one question will arise in your mind, that what is the Constituent Assembly? Constituent Assembly means authority or authorized to make a constitution. Okay, this is called your Constituent Assembly. So let's see. Election to the Constituent Assembly held in July 1946. Okay, elections to the Constituent Assembly held in July 1946. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar appointed chairman of the drafting committee. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, he was appointed as the chairman of the drafting committee. They started drafting the constitution. Okay, the constitution adopted on 26th November 1949. Okay, the constitution was adopted on 26th November 1949 and enacted on 26th January 1950. Okay, first it was adopted on 26th November 1949 and it was enacted on 26th January 1950 when India became a republic. On 26th January 1950, India became a republic. The constitution reflects the best minds of the country and its members represented mini India. Okay, this constitution was reflecting the best minds of the country and its members represented mini India. Every law was debated clause by clause and a consensus arrived it. Okay, now you may be asking what is clause? A separate part of a contract or a will. Okay, and a legal document, that is called a clause. So every law was debated very closely, clause by clause, and consensus arrived. Consensus means general agreement among the members of a group. Getting? As you can see here, whatever law they passed for the constitution, they debated on it clause by clause and consequences arrived it. So they were agree on it and they after that they passed the law. It is the longest written constitution. Okay, Indian constitution is the longest written constitution in the world. Okay, guiding values of Indian constitutions. Guiding values of Indian constitution. The leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, Dr. Ambedkar and Jawaharlal Nehru put forward their views about dream and promise the constitution makes for the new nation. Okay, the leaders like Mahatma Gandhi, Dr. Ambedkar, Jawaharlal Nehru, they put forward their views about dream and promise the constitution makes for the nation. Okay, the preamble of the constitution speaks about the philosophy on which entire constitution has been built. Okay, the preamble of the constitution speaks about the philosophy on which the entire constitution has been built. Are you getting? Good. It is the soul of Indian constitution. The preamble is the soul of Indian constitution. Following are the values mentioned in preamble. Following are the values mentioned in your preamble. Let's see what are they. First, sovereignty, socialism, secularism, democratic and republic nature of India, then justice, liberty, equality and fraternity. Okay, these are the some values mentioned in our preamble. So let's start with the sovereignty. Sovereignty means supreme authority over all things. Okay, and having the supreme authority over all things so that it can take decision, the supreme power, that is called your sovereignty. Then your socialism. Socialism means, you know what is socialism? About the social life, social things, that is called your socialism. Next is your secularism. Secularism means what? Where the religious belief should not influence public or governmental decision. Okay, that is called your secularism. Secularism means where the religious belief should not influence public and governmental decisions. Now let's see about the democratic and republic nature of India. The democratic means where democracy should be there, and the republic nature of India. So democratic and republic nature means where democracy should be practiced in India. And next is your justice. Justice should be there everywhere. in governmental sector or private sector, everywhere there should be justice. Okay, now liberty, they should get the liberty, that the condition of being free from control of restriction, that is called your liberty. Now equality, there should be equality among the people, every citizen should be equal in front of the nation or in front of the government. And the last is the fraternity. Fraternity means brotherlyhood or brotherhood. We Indians should believe that all are equal and we all are brothers and sisters, so that we can live happily. So these all the values are there in our preamble, which is the soul of our Indian Constitution. Okay, so here we completed our chapter. Okay, so what all the things we learned today? Today we learned about the constitutional design. Okay, so we discussed about how the ruler are not having the freedom in democracy, and how we are constituting a assembly or for the constitution, and why we need constitution and how designed, okay, how it developed. And we discuss about the democratic constitution in South Africa. Then again we see that why do we need a constitution, we discussed a lot about it. Then we discussed about the making of the Indian constitutions. Okay, then last, guiding values of the Indian constitutions. Then we learned about the philosophy of the constitution, yes or no. Then we learned about the institutional design, all the things we learned. At last we learned about the preamble. So here your chapter is completed. Please go through the question answer and complete the exercise. Okay, bye.